So Kayleigh Mcnany is liberal kryptonite, and this liberal mob of I got you reporters just have no idea how to deal with her because their gotcha loaded questions have not been very successful at all. She comes so prepared, so organized. And what's really, really amazing about what she's able to do is the reporters have the advantage of asking the questions. They have the element of unpredictability in that she doesn't know which questions they are going to ask. So she just needs to speculate and predict what they're going to ask and then be able to respond and be prepared for the questions that she has to just guess what they might be. And she does this so well. And I mean, I really think this speaks to how predictable the media is. I mean, whenever you see them go into the White House press briefing room, they start asking questions, you can literally just look at the news cycle on CNN or MSNBC for the previous 48 hours and see which stories they've regurgitated on looping repeat, and you almost always know those are going to be the questions that they ask, and there's hardly any diversity of questions among reporters. They almost always ask the same questions over and over and over again, and it seems like they are all almost in this collaborative effort trying to get her. She'll answer one reporter's question, and then she moves on to the next reporter who is just asking a follow-up from the previous reporter of the question right before. And she always stays calm, she stays poised, and she will cite examples, especially when they try to push these loaded gotcha questions on her. She will have a very prepared list of all of these different incidents of hypocrisy when they try to accuse her of downplaying the coronavirus. I mean, she rattled off this entire list of articles from the New York Times, from the Washington Post, from CNN, from MSNBC, stating that the coronavirus was no worse than the flu, that people were overreacting to the coronavirus, reading the members of the media back their own commentary from January, February, and March about the coronavirus, really just completely flipping the narrative on its head and exposing them for their hypocrisy. So recently, this was yesterday, she was in the White House briefing room, and there was a woman who asked her a question about voter security, election security, mail-in ballots, and other types of election interference as well. And just watch this interaction right here.
Kayleigh, I have a couple of questions. The first one is the president in the last few hours tweeted about the concerns about mail-in voting. So he's obviously concerned about the integrity of the U.S. election and certainly internal sabotage. But why are we not hearing from the president about the fears about external sabotage? For example, coming out of the UK today, there's a parliamentary committee report that says that Russia influenced the Scottish referendum. There are questions about Brexit. But we've really not heard the president put the Kremlin on notice with respect to the U.S. election. Will we hear from him today on that?
The president's put the world on notice that our election systems must be secure. This is under this president in 2018. He articulated the first full cyber strategy for the United States since 2003. In 2019, he extended the National Emergency Declaration on Foreign Election Interference. He routinely engages with Congress on election security, participating in at least 26 elections security-specific hearings. He signed legislation, $71 million, and so on and so forth. And that's quite a contrast to the Obama-Biden administration, who, when told of meddling in 2016, did nothing. And in fact, Susan Rice told the White House cyber team to stand down and, quote, knock it off when they floated options to combat Russian cyber attacks. And even Obama's cyber chief, Michael Daniel, has confirmed the stand down order.
Really quick, I just got to pause this here. So you just see what she did. I mean, she's already throwing the question back in her face. And first, this woman goes on to say, no, these are fresh reports about election interference and security. These are just fresh new concerns. First off, there is no fresh new concerns. They have been worried about this so-called election interference from before Donald Trump even took office. This has been an ongoing sabotage since 2016 with the Russian interference of the election, which was completely proven to be false. But for some reason, they think that Donald Trump, I guess, every single week should do something about election interference, where she just named a few big, bold moves to combat election interference. So let's continue to watch here.
It's been in office now more than 3 years. I'm asking what's been done now. And given these fresh concerns, what are we going to hear from the president?
Yeah, these fresh concerns, as if they haven't just been going on continuously for 4 years.
So what's been done now? I just listed off 3 or 4 things for you, and I'm happy to go through more. We can talk about the 71 million in legislation on election security. We can talk about the 15 million for election reform activities. We can talk about legislation making more than 805 million available to states. And when it comes to mail-in voting, I would point you to the fact that there's a Wall Street Journal article just out today, and it talks about the dark omen for November and the absolute catastrophe in New York City, that we are a month into the election after the voting and we still don't know who the winners are of some of those races. And Governor Cuomo decided that he would prepay postage for the ballots, and what that meant was that the post office didn't put a postage stamp noting the date of the ballot. So as they're collecting these ballots in for a month, as you asked me about this, so I'm going to answer. So for a month, they've been collecting ballots with no postmark date, and in fact what they found is 19% of ballots have been rejected in Queens, 28% rejected in Brooklyn. There are questions about mass mail-out voting, and I know you don't want to hear them, which is why you talk over me.
I love it. I absolutely love it. The way that she masterfully handles the media, and I mean, she does it in a way that is so polite as well. It's like, you see how kind of Donald Trump will do this. He'll lash out in the media, he'll call them, he'll point at them and say, "You're fake news." And look at the way, look how poised and just look how well put together she is as she is responding to this woman who keeps interrupting her, not letting her speak, and even calls her out on it, that's saying, "Hey, look, the reason you won't let me answer your question and finish my statement is because you don't want to hear the answer that I'm giving because it doesn't fit your agenda." What's the answer that this reporter wants? The reporter wants her to just look like a buffoon and say, "Oh no, Donald Trump hasn't done anything at all and doesn't give 2 shits about election interference and security." That's the answer that she is hoping. This is the little soundbite that she is hoping to get out of Kayleigh Mcnany, and of course, it is an absolute fail as Kayleigh Mcnany is just rattling off just thing after thing after thing that Donald Trump has done to combat election interference, and then goes back to the Obama-Biden administration and points out the lack of effort from their administration and things that they have not done. And now look at this last part right here, because there is definitely some questions concerning what this reporter said to Kayleigh Mcnany right after this statement. There is a lot of people online saying that she had called Kayleigh Mcnany a lying bitch. So listen very carefully. I mean, there was someone kind of talking right over her as this woman was speaking. So just listen closely here.
But I encourage you to read the op-ed. Yes.
On the China vaccine research, this
yes.
is very
You've gotten 2 questions, which is more than some of your colleagues. Yes.
Thank you, Kayleigh. Okay, you don't want to engage.
Right there, you hear that? Here, let's just rewind that just a few seconds for you.
Some of your colleagues. Yes.
Thank you, Kayleigh. Okay, you don't want to engage.
One more time.
Vaccine research. This
yes.
is very
You've gotten 2 questions, which is more than some of your colleagues. Yes.
Thank you, Kayleigh. Okay, you don't want to engage.
I think you're a lying bitch. I mean, that's what it sounded like to me, which is just absolutely crazy. It's like the left is so desperate at this point that they're going to swear at her. I thought this was supposed to be a pro-feminism movement, right? We're supposed to respect women. We're supposed to trust women. We're supposed to believe all women, except when they say things that you don't like, except when they're Republicans, except when they're Trump supporters, except when they support our president. There's a lot of exceptions to this feminism/pro-women movement that has been propagated by the left, and it absolutely shows here as a female reporter outright just disrespects the White House press secretary, doesn't even let her finish answering. And I'm so glad that the way that Kayleigh Mcnany handles these situations and doesn't let these people bully her, doesn't let these people speak over her, and does so in a way that is just unbelievably polite, unbelievably assertive. I mean, it's just truly just a pleasure just to watch her work every single time she goes up on the White House podium. And I think it's especially frustrating to the left because Kayleigh Mcnany looks like she walked off the set of Legally Blonde. I mean, you have this beautiful, young, brilliant-looking blonde woman, perfect blonde hair, perfect makeup, shows up in her cute little dress, and then goes out there. You would think that she's just probably some, dumbheaded blonde. I mean, she puts to bed every single negative, dumb blonde stereotype that's out there. I mean, she is absolutely brilliant. The way that she goes out on the White House podium in front of this firing squad of malicious reporters and does so day after day, week after week, as they do nothing except just all gather together like the little sheep mob that they are, as they are planning every single time, as they all work together in an orchestrated effort to try to somehow use these gotcha questions to create this viral media clip where they can point at her and say, look how dumb she is, look how bad she is, look how she lies, look how bad the President Trump is. I mean, that's all this is about, and she comes so prepared, so well organized every single time that they do not have a chance at all. Well, anyway, that is my praise. I just really wanted to pay tribute to Kayleigh Mcnany and the wonderful job that she's done as White House press secretary. So give me your thoughts. What do you think of Kayleigh Mcnany? Do you think she's as awesome as I think she is? Give me your thoughts. Write your thoughts in the comments below. Like my video, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.